So this next solo is our final solo of the three, and it was by far the most improvised, and therefore the most difficult for me to kind of go back and remember. Now, just know that the tab will be accurate because I'm gonna, after I've finished filming this, I'm gonna tab out the solos. But I'm just kind of playing this from memory. Again, you know, a lot of kind of call and response in there, a lot of kind of repetition. Some of the licks you'll find are quite similar to the previous solos, but because they're over a different groove, they're kind of reframed in a different context, and that will be good practice for you to kind of reuse ideas. You know, so many of our favorite guitarists have a lot of kind of signature licks and signature phrases that sound different when played over a different groove or played, you know, kind of starting on a different beat. So before we kind of look into this solo, before we look at it, again, it's all kind of based over a static G7 chord, you know, which gives us the kind of blues tonality, blues kind of mixolydian type thing, if you like. But this is a kind of funk groove at 105 BPM. So over our backing track, we're playing this kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4 and 1. And it's just repeating that. Now that's a kind of, it's an interesting rhythm because again, it's not starting on the 1. There's a 1 and 2. It actually kind of starts on the 2. But we're kind of, we're implying a G7 chord, or we're outlining a G7 chord with a riff. With riff. We're outlining a G7 chord with a riff. 1. Using double stops. So the first part, we're playing the major third, the major third and the fifth to the root, but we kind of slide into that. So you want to kind of, you want to play 4 on the G and 3 on the B string, but slide in from 1 fret below, a kind of grace note slide to the root note to 5 on the G, on the D, sorry. So 1 and then that's a kind of very typical, you know, blues double stop. That's a partial bar there on the 5th fret on the G and the D, G and the B strings. And then we go back to this double stop again, sliding up from 1 fret below. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and. And then we play, in the previous solo, we looked at guide tones being the 3rd and the 7th of the chord. You can imply the tonality of a dominant 7th chord without the root note, providing the bass player's, you know, kind of holding it down and doing their job properly. And without the 5th, you know, we just need the 3rd, major 3rd and the 7th. In this case, the major 3rd being on the 4th fret on the G string and the flat 7 being on the 6th fret on the B string. And again, we can slide in from 1 fret below there to kind of make it funky. So 3, 4, 1 and 4 and 1 and. So that's what I'm soloing over. And again, the solo comes in, it doesn't come in all guns blazing, plenty of space in there. We're not starting on the 1, we're going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's we're starting with a kind of pre-bend, which is on the 8th fret on the high E, and then you pull off to 6, and then back to 8 on the high E, and then we're kind of doing that Albert King thing, where you take the 7th fret, and you bend up a half step. So you kind of bend into the 4th, but you tease it ever so slightly sharp because that's what Albert King did, and it, you know, it shouldn't work, but it does work. To kind of overbend it a little bit, we get this kind of sound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and. You know, it's got a little bit of a cheekiness to it. and then we do it again, but it's syncopated. It's a displaced rhythm. If you go back and listen to the solo, which I suggest, you know, of all of these solos, any solo that you're learning, listen to it a whole load of times before tackling it. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense in context, or out of context, should I say? So 3, 4, 1, and then so typical pentatonic lick there. It's just to top it off. So that's 6 on the high E, 8 pull off to 6 on the B string, and then that's 6 on the high E to 8 on the B again, and then we pull off to 6 on the B, which is the flat 7. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and listen to the original for timing. And then we go play that lick again, but again it's displaced slightly. It's on a slightly different beat of the bar. So we get this. We get a lot of repetition there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 4, and. Yeah. Then there's a kind of Stevie Ray type kind of gliss. He would often do this. If you check out my course, Blues the Next Level, I've got a lot of kind of blues slur licks in there, you know, kind of Texas blues slurry licks, and you know, this is something I like to do a lot. So we're starting on 7 on the G. We're kind of doing an almost immediate grace note slide down to 5, and then pull off to 3, and back to 5 on the G. And then we pick up that double stop that we had in the rhythm part. So that's 4 on the G and 3 on the B string. Slide into it from 1 fret below. So again, you know, you get a kind of theme. You're building a theme with a phrasing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and. So the next part of the solo, we keep the same rhythm as before, but we're playing different notes. We do this, 3, 4, and 1, and. So that's, again, you know, a kind of pre-bend. But this time it's kind of more in the kind of BB box, a G BB box, kind of slightly more of a major pentatonic flavour. We start, we're kind of pre-bending on the 10th fret on the B string, bend that up a whole step, and then you kind of release the bend and pull off to 8 on the B, and then hit 9 on the G, and then we take the minor third and we bend that up a whole step on the B string on the 11th fret, and then we do that again. Again, rhythmic displacement, you know, refer to the recording for the actual placement of the rhythm. And then we kind of do this cheeky little chromatic thing where we're going on the high E, 8, 9, 10, and then that's 10 on the B string to 8. And I think I kind of did a hammer on from nowhere onto 9 on the G. That's the 6th. And then I may not have, just listened to the original. Knowing me, I probably would have had I had time. So we got that. Then And then we play a kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan style lick that we had in a similar solo, but it's in a different context now, so it's going to sound different. That was it. Well, this part is a Stevie Ray. Something that he did very, very frequently, straight out of Texas Flood. But again, we're playing it over a different groove, so it's not going to sound like that. But hopefully you get a bit of that Texas blues flavour. We do this, we bend up a whole step on the 7th fret on the G. And then we do this partial bar on the 3rd fret between the B and the high E. So 3 B, 3 high E, and then that's 6 on the B string to 3 on the high E. So we've got, and then we're playing 7 on the high E, and then that's 3. So that's 3 hammer to 4, pull off to 3 on the high E. That note there is a flat 9 or a flat 2, you know, which isn't in the scale. It's a passing tone, but it's something that Stevie did a lot. And then we play, so that's 6 on the B string, 3 on the high E, and then 6 pull off to 3 on the B string. This double stop, this is that kind of Chuck Berry thing. We had this in a previous solo. You take the 6th and the flat 3. Those are the intervallic functions, but the actual fret numbers are 5 on the B string and 6 on the high E. And you tease them slightly sharp. And then we get that partial bar again, 3 on the high E, 3 on the B. And then we do a grace note slide from 6 to 8, the flat 7 to the root note on the B string. And then this kind of slippery stuff. So that's 6 on the B, a grace note slide from 7 down to 5 on the G string, pull off to 3, back to 5 on the G. And then we go up to 7 on the G, and we kind of we resolve it there because we're landing on a 5th of the chord, so we're landing on a chord tone. So that's the first part of the solo. We've got 3, 4, and 1, and then until I'm not completely kind of au fait with it because you know, it was improvised, so you know, I'm still kind of fidgeting my way around it. It was a kind of lucky take, you know, kind of remembering those phrases. Now the next part definitely wasn't improvised, or certainly not the main part of it. It's kind of based on a riff that I play a lot. It's one of my kind of go-to kind of hybrid picking kind of country licks, which I just kind of launched into. That kind of thing. You know, it's something that I had played before. I didn't just kind of pull the notes out of thin air, but I threw it in the solo, if that makes sense. So, you know, it's although the solo was improvised, I played that part before. that's there's a lot of kind of syncopation in there. Let's break it down as a riff and see what we can do with it. So what we've got, again, it's this partial bar here. So you want to bar the top 2 strings on the 3rd fret, and make sure you pick them with your middle, with your 2nd and 3rd finger on your picking hand. And then with the pick, we're playing 5 on the D string. And then we go, then you want to kind of bar the 5th fret. So bar the D, G and B strings on the 5th fret, and then we kind of do this hybrid thing again. So we pick the G and B string back to the D string. Get that working. And then what that is, you bar the well, kind of bar the top 3 strings, I suppose, but we're not really putting much emphasis on the high E string, so you can just kind of, you know, sort of lean into the G and the B strings. So we kind of hit those with these two hybrid fingers. We just call, you know, the second and 3rd fingers. We'll just call that hybrid for now. Hybrid pick, just for laugh, just for kind of ease of transcription. So we go, and then you hammer on to the 4th fret of the G string. So you're kind of going minor 3rd and 5th. Sorry, you're kind of going minor 3rd and 5th to major 3rd and 5th. Back to pick, picking the 5th fret on the D string. And then we kind of syncopate, we cycle that, so we go. But in order to kind of make it complete, you know, to make it kind of fall into 4/4, at the end of the 2nd repetition, we have to go. At the end of the 2nd repetition, we have to throw in an extra, you know. So 3, 3 on the G and the B string, and then hammer to 4. So and that'll bring it around, so it's kind of in time, you know, for the next bar. So 3 and 4 and then we play it again that far, and then there's a little double stop thing in there. What I do, I slide up from kind of grace note slide. Take this double stop here. So that's 7 on the G, 6 on the B. But I'm actually sliding up from 2 frets below, and I'm picking that up. I'm either picking it with the hybrid fingers or maybe the pick and the 3rd finger. I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't really matter. I'm picking it with the hybrid fingers. Yeah. And then we kind of do this grace note, slide down, but you kind of have to slide down into a bar, so you're barring the G and the B strings on the 5th fret. If that makes sense. It takes a bit of practice, you know, just isolate that one part, and then pull off to 3 on the G, 3 on the B, and then pick 5 on the D string, and then just to top it off. So that's what we had before. Sometimes I get my 2nd finger involved. That's hybrid on hybrid fingers on 5 on the G, 5 on the B, and then 5 on the D. I'm using my second finger now, but up to speed I may not. I've never actually slowed it down. And then again hybrid from 3 on the G and the B strings to and then hammering on to 4 on the G string. If you ever see me closing my eyes when I'm transcribing a song, it's because I'm concentrating a lot more than I usually do. So yeah, that's it. It'll be in the tab anyway. So yeah, and then we do that again, the first part again. And then we kind of hit this kind of syncopated bit, so we go. You know, till it kind of falls around on the beat. It makes sense if you listen to it in context. So we get this, we get 3 and 4 and. Play that as is again, and then we go play it again just up until there. What did I do? Yeah, that's what I did. Kind of sounds like a fly. So I just kind of came out of that thinking, how am I going to come out of that? I mean, this is a legato lick that I play a lot. Normally, you know, repeat it a lot, but I just played it a couple of times. What it is, definitely need to get your pinky involved down here. So it's I think, yeah, I play it kind of 2.5 times, but it's really difficult to slow down, but it's within the blues scale. So you've got, if you're thinking of this box, you know, position 1, play 3 on the B string, pick it once, hammer to 6, pull off to 3, slide down to 2, hammer 3, pull off to 2, and then it repeats. You don't need to pick it again the second time around, but so you got the 5th, the flat 7, and the flat 5 in there. You know, the blue note. It can sound quite mean in certain company. I just kind of fiddle with it really. So, and then when I was done on the beat, I slid up to the root note. So slid up to 8 on the B, and then just use that kind of thing again. So that's 6 on the B, and that's 7 on the G. Grace note slide down the 5, pull off to 3 on the G, back to 5 on the G, and then just play that double stop again. So that's 4 on the G, 3 on the B, slide in from 1 fret below. I know it's kind of messy, but it kind of made sense in the solo and in the moment, and it was just a way to kind of get out of this, you know, syncopation of this kind of hybrid thing. So I'll try and kind of play it in context. 3 and 4 and. That kind of thing. So there you go, 3 solos, all with a kind of utilizing call and response, which is how I tend to phrase, leaving spaces, having every phrase, kind of builds on the last or has something to do with the last, building themes, building kind of repetition, building kind of hooks, and being kind of considerate with your note choice as well, kind of being thinking about chord tones, thinking about where you are on the fretboard. So, hopefully you found that useful. Again, if the hopefully I've broken everything down thoroughly enough. There is tab, obviously, and the tab's going to be accurate because I will have really, analysed what I played on the takes and kind of, transcribed it from there. If your fretboard knowledge is, needs improving, then do check out my Master the Fretboard course. If you kind of want to advance your blues playing and look at some of these kind of diminished half whole stuff and kind of blues slurs that we use, then check out my Blues the Next Level course. I do have a website called absolutebluesguitar.com, which is a very comprehensive blues course. We're talking about kind of classic electric blues. It takes the player from having never before picked up a guitar in the beginner section through to some very advanced stuff, kind of based on traditional blues. There's slide guitar in there, there's slow blues, a lot of stuff to get the student developing their own blues style, using lots of example solos so you can build up your own vocabulary. So all that remains for me to say now is thank you very much. Thank you for choosing this course, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you can incorporate some of these ideas into your own playing and to have fun. Cheers, guys. I'll see you on the next lesson.